Yo, you guys want the sauce. I'm gonna give you guys the sauce. This is updated Kairyu-Shin Umi Control. This deck is sick. Thank you guys, everyone, over the last few weeks for just kind of giving your pointers and whatnot, helping me learn the insides and outs a little bit better. It's definitely helped with my ability to play the deck, but I've got an updated profile for you guys. Going into the new format, I definitely think this is a super solid contender. We have an awesome matchup against Splites, tier elements. I don't even know if that deck's still new enough, but I think we can definitely handle that pretty well. Against most rogue shit, this, like, aside of like Morinsis per se, this pretty much is doing phenomenal. It locks out everything. So, yeah, I mean, we'll just kind of get into it. This is an updated version. I don't like to just pump deck profiles out every week, so do understand that I try and like really like hone in and make updates, and with life and work and how busy I am, it is very hard to dedicate a lot of time to Yu-Gi-Oh! But that's why I try and make the profiles as clean as possible whenever I set them out for you guys, so you have something good to base off of, and so it's not just like a complete waste of time. But all right, go ahead and start off. Yeah, I'll just leave it all out as per usual. Still running the one made into the Aqua. I think the new retrain of her is decent. I don't actually know if it's, I mean, it is good. It's an extender because you bring her out and she brings out monsters from the graveyard, yada, yada, yada. I still think for right now, though, I don't know if like it's better than this, because she still treats herself as Umi on the field and the other one does not. But this allows you to lock your opponent with Dark Reef on your opponent's turn. She's a level 4, which can come into, I mean, some niche instances for XYZ, but the idea being that right now she's the only Umi that you can tutor out from your deck, like as a monster with Dark Reef. So I still think that her utility is good as a one of their. She's not mandatory by any means, but I do like what I've gotten out of her, and I have not like had a reason to cut her necessarily yet. One Doom Kraken still. Again, the quick effect to pop on your opponent's turn, I think, is more of like a plan B, or just like you want to catch your opponent off guard. It's not very an offensive effect. And what I'm finding with this deck, I mean, it is a water deck, and the more you play it, like the slower you take the game state. I mean, it is a control deck, but it is very rewarding. You can't really go out of it. You're not like OTKing, and it's worth the time to take up that extra turn or two to set up your OTK rather than making the riskier play, what I'm finding more times than not. Because like once you have your lock established, there's not a lot your opponent can do. So 3 Jellyfish. This will, I mean, this is kind of the main guy of the deck other than Kairyu-Shin, but in terms of making your engine safe and getting your legendary ocean out, he's the way to go. Definitely would not play anything less. Warrior of Atlantis. I still have only the one copy. It's not mandatory, but I play one of him and one terraforming, so they're both different searchers. I still like the fact that he's a body if need be, level 4 still. I don't really have like a, it's not like I've done the math and like one Warrior of Atlantis is statistically, no, that's just what I'm playing, but I don't necessarily brick on it because I only play the one, and he's a body, like I said, as backup. 3, Kairyu-Shin, again, heart and soul the deck. You need 3 of this guy. I do love the fact that like his effect quite literally makes the whole board state like the show, that you can only control one non-water monster, so it's like the whole giant soul or stone effect. Just the fact that they gave that much like nostalgia boost to it is really cool. 1 Fortress Whale, the mega Fortress Whale. And hold on, I'm gonna show you guys this just so you like understand like how much I enjoy playing this deck. Cause like, hold on. You guys aren't supposed to see this. This is my collection binder. I've been thinking about doing like a video on this. Well, you guys might get like a little sneak peek of some stuff in here. All right, there's like a fun page, but like I really fuck with Fortress Whale. So the fact that like they gave him like retrained art and shit, I'm all about. So, but if we hit like a certain point or something, I'll go through my collection binder because I would love to share this with you guys. I've been collecting since I was 7, so I have some cool stuff. But regardless, 1 Mega Fortress Whale. This allows you to OTK. You're typically not bringing this out until late game, but this is what I was talking about. Like if you're new to the deck, you'll learn that you'll want to set up your lock and then turn 4 or 5 or whatever the fuck it is. You'll bring him out typically with Dark Reef and set up your OTK once you've locked your opponent. But he's not mandatory, I guess. I've seen a lot of people debating if he's needed or not. I have not found a reason to cut him. His effect to be able to pop on your opponent's battle phase 2 with Sea Stealth 2, that's pretty awesome. It doesn't ever come up, but in theory it's cool. Giga Chad, or Go Giga, Gaga Gigo. It's still the highest vanilla beater you can play. There is the pirate ship. It's the Mariner guy. I got a copy of him here somewhere. That you can play that I think if I'm going to put this profile out, I want to be able to give as much info as possible. I'll give you 1 second, sorry. Skull Mariner. So this was a deck I was playing for a while. It is a water level 4 warrior. You can special summon this off of Mega Fortress, but whenever I was teching this, it was like the only thing that checks all the boxes that you can summon with Deep Sea or the Dark Reef, Fish Sonar, off Whale. It's never a brick in your hand because you can summon it, but because it's the only warrior vanilla monster. So it was just something I was trying out for a while. I'm back on him just because of his attack stats. I'm finding that just the utility, you're not really ever summoning off Whale, but this was a tech that I was playing just because it did technically check the most boxes for the deck. But I think that Giga Chat is still what I'm finding the most success with because he's a fucking 2,900 beater or 31 depending on what's out on the field. So that's pretty much for the main monsters, and then 3 Nibiru. I think Nibiru's still fine. I'm not like super in tune with like this format, so if there's like a better, I don't know. I still think it shits on quite a bit, and there's enough glare on that to piss me off, but it is what it is. But still 3 Nibiru. But we are playing going second cards because we don't win every dice roll. Spells, 3 Legendary Ocean, still Heart and Soul the deck, it just needs a super or secret reprint. 3 Fish Sonar, because it's the rotor for the fucking deck. I don't own Prosperities, so we're still playing Extravagances. If you have Prosperities, dope, that's probably working out phenomenal for you. The Extravagances are fine. I mean, you gotta play at least some draw cards, so Extravs are where it's at. Dark Ruler No Mores, I am main decking 3 of these. Fucking love this card because if you can stop or just blink your opponent's board and Legendary Ocean and normal summon your Kairyu-Shin, you kind of main deck and evenly match in a sense when it comes to monsters. So, I mean, clearing boards or going second isn't hard, but I do think between like Nibirus and the Dark Rulers, I mean, our deck doesn't really break boards that well. If you can drop a Legendary Ocean and manage to normal summon Kairyu-Shin, that's probably your best bet, but other than that, you're not doing a whole lot. So I'm main decking these for the time being. We'll see how the format develops or what I find. 2 Sea Stealth 2 still. I don't think I would cut this to 1. I don't really have much to say about this card other than the fact that it's Umi. The effect that you can special summon at the beginning of the battle phase is really cheeky if you like know that it's going to remain on the field. I caught one of my opponents off guard in a recent video where he had like 4 monsters on the field and he went battle phase. This was the only card I had in my hand or on the field, and Kairyu-Shin was what I had in my hand, summoned, and I mean obviously that's a changed game state from there. We are main decking 1 Duster. This is a change from my last profile. I was main decking like no back row hate. I'm siding 3 Cosmic, but you do have to play something in the main, and I do think that, I mean, it can be a blowout card. One of my matches, it quite literally won me the match because I was able to hit all of his back row on turn 1. 1 Fury of Kairyu-Shin. It's a searchable way to torrential, so that's pretty sweet. I guess I'll go over here. God, I'm sorry. I'm playing 1 Mystic Mine and a Terraforming. I've always been main decking the Terraforming, but again, this is like the plan B. If going second, we just get absolutely shafted. This deck also has like quite literally no fucking recovery. So if your opponent just gets the better of your board, it's typically very hard to come back. So sometimes we've got to play some shit like Mystic Mine. I'm not a fan of this card at all, but in a competitive sense, if I'm going to take this deck to a regional or something, I need to test that out. And Konami's not smart enough to ban it yet, so whenever they want to do that, I'm all for it. But fuck it, we ball until then. 2 Dark Reef and 2 Sea Stealth Attack. I bumped both of these up to 2. Well, I guess I was playing 2 Dark Reef, but Sea Stealth 2, we bumped up to 2. That card is... these 2 cards are the only reason that this deck is, like, able to do any of the shit that it does. Typically they don't clear the first one, but if they do, it's very hard again to come back. So I do like playing the second one. Also opening up like any of these is fine because then you just search the other one typically if you can get to your lock. But I've been enjoying 2 and 2. I definitely don't think you need to max out on either of them unless you're going for like, I don't know. I'm finding pretty good success with 2 and 2. Still 2 Torrential Tribute. I find myself siding out like 1 if not 2 copies. It's great for breaking boards, especially with the strike package. But I don't think I would play less than 2, especially with its searchability, but this card is still pretty busted. Skill Drain, and just lay out the rest of the traps. So 2 skill drain and 2 strike and 2 there can only be 1. And it's a lot of 2 ups actually on all the traps. I'm just not realizing that. But strikes and, well, here I guess the floodgates themselves are phenomenal. This deck can inherently play around both of these very well. Reason being, so with skill drain, for those of you that don't know, obviously it negates everything that's face up on the field, but you can still play, like, say, your Kairyu-Shin around it. If you activate your Kairyu-Shin and then chain Sea Stealth's effect to banish it off the field, its effect will still resolve. And then it also inherently makes your Kairyu-Shin, Fortress Whale, and Giga Chad all kind of indestructible in the sense when you have both of these, because it turns all of your level 5 or highers into just like automatic destroyers. So by the effect of Sea Stealth attack, it is kind of busted. This is more of a plan B. You don't always just want to crank skill drain over as soon as possible, but it can be a very, very hard card that a lot of decks can't deal with. And when our deck can inherently play around it so well, it's kind of fun. Skill drain is also hands down my favorite fucking trap card, so I will play it in any deck that I can find a way to, like Kent's trains, anything. Like, I mean, I just really like skill drain. It's a super fun card. There can only be 1. All of our shit is different for the most part. Kairyu-Shin Stark Reef allows you to, you know, obviously play around whatever you already have on the field, but with all of our shit just being naturally different types, that's another thing for Gagaga or Giga Chad, whatever the fuck we're gonna call him. He's a reptile. That specifically is nice too. The strikes are still, the card's broken. If I had a 3rd one, I would definitely probably play a 3rd Ultimate Strike, but it's just where we're at right now. Main deck, I think, is 40, 1, 2, 4, I got the main deck wrong last time, 2, 14, 18, 21, 27, 30. 41? That many? I don't know. You fucking count. However many that was. Side deck. Extra deck. It quite literally is the exact same as before. You touch this every once in a while. But for the most part, this is all utility. Dweller is pretty nice right now with 2 elements, without a doubt. Kraken is kind of our own cowboy. These are, I mean, I just tried making it as generic as possible, but this works. I mean, this could definitely be, I don't know, this could be something else realistically, but again, this is all kind of fodder for Extrav, but you could make this to the best of your ability. I mean, make it Tornado Dragon or something if you needed it out back row or floodgates. But that would be my recommendation. This works pretty well. Side deck. Lava Golem. I guess I get a little more straight. The Cosmic. Judgment. Evenly. And a barrier. There are so many options right now that it is not even funny. I've seen people talking about like Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. I do not think that that's a bad choice at all. I try making my shit as generic as possible, but judgments are 100% necessary because if you get smacked by it evenly, you're having a really bad time, and also it's just very, very clutch overall. Golem, I like this card. And so my theory is if you can golem your opponent and find a way to like lock them into that, but then also just have like I don't know, like it would require more Krakens in theory, but having a way to just lock your opponent into the lava golem, or finding a way to consistently make it so that they can't attack, and which I guess there's tons of ways to do it, especially with Sea Stealth too and whatnot. Yeah, definitely overthinking that now that I'm talking about it out loud. Idea being, Lava Golem super solid. If you can lock your opponent into this and they just sit there and keep burning for 1,000, I mean, even in game 3, which very easily could be when that's being played, that could be a very like detrimental lock for your opponent. So, no, I like Lava Golem currently. Breaking boards, I mean, between everything that we're playing for going second and what we have main deck, that's kind of the whole idea, is that if you need to have like 12, Evenlys, the Golems, Nibiru's, fucking Dark Rulers, I mean, that's quite literally 12 cards that you can have main deck, so you're definitely in good odds of opening up something. Cosmics and D-Barriers are just generic enough to kind of out whatever need be. And I definitely need more than, you know, just the Harpy's Feather Duster for back row removal. But with Eldritch and whatnot, I think Cosmic is more impactful than Twin, and you kind of need most of the cards that you have in your hand in this deck, so we don't have the luxury of just discarding cards. The barrier I still think is super impactful, especially with all the fusion shit running around my local. I mean, it's pick your poison. Obviously, your extra deck, or I'm sorry, side deck it is what you make it. But this one has been, I'm pretty comfortable with the way I have it locked in right now. It's pretty. I mean, the more generic, the better. There's so many hand traps right now, like triple tactics talents. I don't know if that's something. I have not played it at all, but that might be something spicy. But yeah, that's where the deck's at right now, guys. I don't even know if there's like anything really to go over in theory. I appreciate, like I said, all the feedback that you guys have been giving is pretty sweet. I genuinely feel as if though it's cool having you guys tell me how bad I am damn near every time I upload a video. No, I'm just fucking with you. But no, that's the profile. Let me know what you guys think. If you obviously have any suggestions or if you've tried out anything that's been working well, that's cool. Let me know. But I really do think this deck is, I mean, if you're like for regionals and whatnot, I think it's a very solid contender. No one knows like what any of these cards do still. And I think it'll stay that way for a hot minute. Obviously, like if like Cosmic's going to be a pain in the ass just because of, well, no, because we have the jellyfish. So as long as you keep this, I'm sorry, this on the field and this on the field, there's really not a whole lot that this deck can't beat. So, yeah, thanks again, guys, for watching, checking it out. Keep watching the replays, but deuces.